It's the Good Gift Show. My name is Katleho, and you're watching the Good Gift Show. Now, this episode is very important to me because I'm sitting with a person who inspires me and who does a lot, but very subtle, you know. His name is Simlet, and let's welcome him to the show.
Hey! You're gonna have fun, like those little GIFs. They're clapping, yeah.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Can't complain. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And yeah.
To your beautiful house.
Yeah, my little Zozunyana. We're good. We're getting there.
So let's get through it, man. Please tell us about your upbringing, and in that, just tell us more why you went to music.
Okay, so name Simlet. Simlet. I know a lot of people want to know what the name means, but story for another day. So I was born in Soweto, White City, Jabavu. Small hood. If you go see it, it's really, really small. Hospital, Parakwana, yeah.
Yeah, like most.
But like most people. So I grew up there. I mean, the music thing didn't start until later in terms of practicing it or deciding to go into it as a career.
Okay.
Because my father used to play a lot of music. I listened to a lot of music though, when I was a kid. A lot. I mean, I started listening to George Benson when I was 13.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I was young. There's another Greek composer by the name of Yanni. And I was listening to that stuff when I was young. There was a rule in my family. My dad used to say, you never skip a song.
Is it?
You don't. Yeah. So when a song is started, let it play. Because you never get to appreciate what the artist was trying to do. So when they invented the skip button, because remember I used to fast forward. So that's how the music got sort of indoctrinated. Then what people don't know, I was a DJ. I started DJing when I was 14, 15, yeah. Vinyls.
Sure.
I used to walk, it's very far, man. Like a distance that would be equivalent to Bree to KFM. Just to go listen to vinyls because I couldn't afford them.
Yeah.
They were $120 per vinyl and it's just one song. You find it's Summer Days Gamo. The other side is instrumental Summer Days. That's the end of the song. So imagine if you had to play an entire 1 hour set. It would be like, I'm 120. Angaza to cover an hour. So that's how I started. I used to DJ with cassettes as well. Fast check. I went to boarding school. Then at boarding school, because I used to collect music, I kind of mastered the art because of my father.
Oh.
People started wanting me to play Mr. Spring, Mr. Winter, so I became the DJ. And that's the music thing kind of. Then one day when I came back from boarding school, it was grade 11, I remember. I came back. I stayed with my grandmother.
Where, Soweto?
Yeah, okay. Pimville. So I woke up one day and I said, Koko, do you know if anybody knows how to teach guitar? Just like that, out of the blue. I still don't know how I got to that idea, but I got to that idea. So lucky enough, my grandmother goes to work. You see those guys that mama pamphlet in my robotin?
Oh, yeah.
One of those pamphlets was guitar lessons.
Sure.
At that time, it was 100 a month. This is 2003.
Oh,
that's very cheap.
Yeah.
I got like $25 for a lesson, an hour, $100 a month. So my lessons used to start at 2. I used to get there at 10. And I would attend the other, 10 in the morning because I attend the other classes. I wanted to know, I was impatient. Like I want to know how to play now. And I want to play the songs that I want. I want to play Jimmy Lulu now. I want to play George Benson now. And like, you don't even know the basics. So that's how the music started thing. And then in matric, I didn't care what I was going to do after. I wanted to play.
Sure.
I wanted to play.
Play as in being a
become
DJ
a musician.
Oh, okay.
Whether it was in DJing or in playing an extra instrument, that was irrelevant at that time. I just knew this thing. I want to do this thing for the rest of my life. So, and then I wanted to go to school now. I wanted to study. I wanted to know. Because after a year of doing guitar lessons, I got bored. Because like I know how to play the stuff in you. I'm like, I want to play, I remember I had to be like a hectic Jonathan Butler fan.
Yeah.
So before I got my first guitar, I used to draw lines here. And I would practice on my hand. Because like I don't have the money,
Yeah.
And I used to, and my father was saving up to, try and get me my first guitar. So I used to sit in the taxi. But I would hear stuff in my head. Like I'm hearing things. Like they can't come out yet because, And then that day came when my father bought me a guitar. I remember it was a Rick Miller from Cash Crusaders. And it's unfortunate that somebody stole that guitar because it probably would have been worth a bit more now because, So I played on that guitar, man. I used to do about 11 hours a day of practice.
Sure.
Every day, like sleep with the guitar on my chest. My grandmother brings me food. I'm like, waiting for meat. Meat takes long to cook. Is there anything quick so that I can go back? So peanut butter became my thing. That's why I like peanut butter so much.
That's why you call me that.
So because it has a story for me, it's the most simplest meal to make. But you don't eat it without something to drink, it can be, it's got to deal with you. So that's how I got into music. And then in matric, I don't know where I got the bravery from. I walked into a company. I remember on the 14th of December, they were about to close. I walked in and asked for a bursary because I didn't have the money.
Sure.
Then I remember an old man by the name of Jack Ginsberg. He was the financial director of that company. He said to me, number one, you don't have an exemption, which I sorted out later. Number two, no one at your family works here because those are requirements. You need to have, but the minimum requirement is that somebody needs to, from your family, to be working here because then the bursary makes sense. And then I remember my words were, I know, but I still want the bursary.
Sure.
Then I walked out. He said to me, come back the next day. Come back, a check was waiting for me. Give me a check. It wasn't a full bursary, but it was enough to cover quite some ground on my course. So I went, I registered, and that was the beginning of the rest of my life. So at music school, I learned so many things, man. I learned styles. So the strange thing is that when I got to music school, my guitar teacher was the guy that used to teach Jimmy Lulu and Slylo Slaughter at UCT.
Sure.
So I didn't know at that time. I only found out later in the course. He knew any possible style you can think of. So he taught me a bit of everything. There's bluegrass, there's banjo, there's acoustic, there's flamenco, Spanish, there's mpakanga, there's jazz, there's bebop, there's classical, there's... the list just goes on and on and on. But they somehow mix. But not only did he teach me how to play, he taught me how to compose on those styles, which became very important for me in the work that I do now. Because I can grab a classical guitar and I'd know what to do harmonically and what I play to get it to play within the space of what it was made for. And I'd use an electric guitar, I'd get something. I'd use a, acoustic guitar, get those banjos, and I'd know what to do. So my musical journey then kicked off. Then I left DJing because I got tired of playing other people's songs. I wanted to make my songs. I wasn't angry at the game. I gave my brother, my cousin brother, he passed away about 2 months ago. He's the guy that got me into DJing because I used to go to his house every Sunday and practice from 1 till 5 every Sunday because I didn't have vinyls. So I gave the vinyls back to him and CDs and then I finished my school. It's important. So I did finish. I graduated. There were 17 guitarists in the class when we started the course, first year. There were only 3 that graduated.
So it's from the same where you got the bursary from?
Yeah, so I got the bursary, yes.
Okay.
So 3 out of 17 graduated. I was the only black in the faculty. I felt so proud. My dad was like, yeah, don't I am, you know? And I was so ready to go and play. I still don't have my picture.
The
Graduation picture. I didn't go pick them up.
Sure.
Because I'm like, let's go. Because I was already gigging before I finished the course.
Sure.
So as my lecturer saw us and he was like, I'm going to start a band. Our lecturer said he's going to start a band using us. We became, I don't remember the name. There was a club called the Blues Room in Santon. We used to kind of play there. But I used to do covers because I had to get a wig, a balloon, and look like a white person. I used to play a lot of rock and roll stuff. Yeah, and then, you know, fast track. Today I don't perform a lot, but I write music, I compose music for TV, commercials, drama series, and film. Yeah.
So you said while you were in school, you used to do gigs before that. A lot of people say that you must focus on one thing and, you know, always be at it. So how did you get the courage of, okay, I'm studying this, but let me sort of evolve
into other things?
Yeah.
Look, I think everything has a season. You know, so you can't be chowing avocados in or wanting avocados in December. You know what I mean? To understand that things work in seasons. That's critical. I'll tell you why I'm saying that. I've never met a person who's only gifted in one thing.
Yeah.
I've never met them. Yeah. Now, when you talk about gifts or talk about talents, people think music, painting, you know, but being that person at a bank who knows how to make money move or last or create systems for a bank so that mina now must figure as fagi cut press we get money out. That person is gifted because if I had to go and do that, I probably wouldn't be able to do it as efficiently as them. So things work in seasons. The analogy of an avocado is the whole idea is that you can't eat something good in its wrong season.
Yeah.
My wife the other day, we bought the khap. So me, I'm like, I remember, man, when we bought khap a while ago, it was cheaper. Then she said to me, it's because the season is ending. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So there's something there. So when something is scarce or scarce, as the smart kids of Braamfontein would say, when it's scarce, it gains value. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
The reason a diamond is expensive is because you can't just pick it up anyway. So it has value. So the more scarce something is, the more value it gets. So if you do something that everybody is doing in a particular season, the chances of you making it with that thing becomes very slim.
Sure.
So to answer your question, I love tech.
Yeah.
I love music. There's like the two things, and I love history, you know, like finding out what happened back in the days. But I couldn't reconcile, should I be an IT technician? Should I be a musician? But here's the question. Name me an album that was released without technology. There isn't.
Yeah,
you know, everybody, including this computer that, like here, everybody that makes music uses a computer. Everybody that creates today, you type a document, it's a computer. You send an email, it's a computer. Facebook, computer. Instagram, it's a computer. It's a small computer compressed and put in your phone, which is called a smartphone. So once I started understanding the similarities or the connecting points, then I started seeing things as seasons. Because now I know summer is coming, winter is coming, whatever is coming. So it kind of like, I know it's a bit of an abstract kind of a version of saying it, but I know how to connect them now. It's very rare that you will find us moving from winter to winter, unless you stay in a very different place in the world. But it does this thing, and it follows sequentially. Have you noticed, Uguti? We know June is in December. Winter is in June. Sorry, that's what I want to say. In South Africa, it's different in another place. It's different in another world, which would also mean that what you do here might be different to what somebody else is doing there. My point is that you have your own version of this thing. If you feel that doing this is important and doing that is important than the other, then it's fine. Then the question then becomes, what are you finding in your things that you want to do? What is the thing that is coming effortlessly right now in terms of doing it?
Sure.
Like I know tech right now, technology. I'm finding, let's use a work example. I'm getting more work doing tech stuff than I am right now doing a lot of music stuff or film, more specifically in the film space, because that's where I want to get in, the Netflix and that kind of space. If I had to go back to gigging, I'd probably get in very quickly because I built but does it mean now because I'm having less sort of results in the music thing, I should now focus on tech exclusively? It just means I need to milk the season for the tech. There's going to be a time where this thing is gone. But what I do, I create systems. I create systems for this other thing. When you practice, you don't practice because you feel good. You practice because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Mabati uchoge grounding, shy 5 rounds before figure, and then we'll do drills with, whether you see the results of drills now or not, it's immaterial. We know that if you do these drills every day for the next 6 months, when the time for you to deliver on the drills come, it's not time to prepare for the 6 months. So to answer your question in a long sort of way of saying it, when you've got something that you like, that is something else. There is something else that is giving you results. Sometimes it's not necessarily money, but you're finding some sort of flow or effortless way of doing it. Sure. It's possible that it's the season for it. Work on the other ones. That's why you gotta self-manage,
Yeah, that's for sure.
And then it kind of does this. Then you can tell the other one is kind of here's an example. Had I not gotten into commercials and tech and stayed as a session musician playing live shows, I would have suffered last year during COVID.
Sure.
There were no shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one was performing. It was tough, man. 2020, I never want, even my enemies, I never want them to go through that. Psychologically, it was a big mess, but I was kind of cushioned by these other skills that I've been working on for a long time. Now they come back because now people want to know about tech. Everybody wants to digital. I want to move to digital. Look at it. Here's another way to contextualize it into your channel. YouTube is starting to boom in South Africa. Yeah. Not because it's new. It's been there in the US. It's the season. Everybody's opening a YouTube channel.
That's for sure.
But if you remain consistent on your channel, you're going to beat a lot of people because you're doing the principle of hard work. You're putting in the work. Say, for example, your show in 2 years' time. Let's say you've got 150 episodes. It takes one episode for me to watch the other 150.
Yeah. But
if you've got one good one, what is there else there to consume on your page? Nothing. Then I move on to the next thing. So that's why I remember I once sent you a DM and I said, don't stop.
Yeah.
Eventually we get to your place and you're like, how? So 3 hours I'm busy watching your videos. Then what YouTube does, then YouTube kind of starts ranking you, pushes you to other people for them to see you. So it's the season. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I'm answering in a very abstract way, but I'm answering it my way. Me now, they're all working. During the day, I do tech.
Here's what I think people don't know about you. Ne? I'll make an example. I don't know if you know this. My first pay, I got it from.
Is it?
Yeah.
Shucks,
remember when you were
that's
doing
humbling.
stuff at Vow and stuff, and then I was a. What do you call this person? You know,
Like a runner.
Yeah.
Like a runner, yeah.
A runner
yeah,
something,
yeah.
and then that was my first pay. And then you like helping people. That's what I've seen and learned about you.
It's fulfilling.
Do you think it's something that you were like born with, or you were like, plus the video you posted on Instagram when you were playing a guitar and then you're speaking to the other guy?
I'm planning on going to.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm jumping the question around.
Yeah,
I'm planning on going to see that
that's
guy.
in your nature, ne?
I'm planning on going to see that guy because there's one thing I've learned about life in my short-lived version so far. Never, ever, ever underestimate people. That person could be your president the next day or in 4 years' time. Sure. Here's an example. I'm not promoting anyone. I'm just saying this. This is not a paid sponsorship, by the way. Julius Malema just turned 40. Perspective on what influence is. 40. Can you count the times that... let's not argue about politics and what he does. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Talk about impact. The past 7, 5, 6 years, we felt him. He was entering his 30s.
Yeah.
You don't have a right to disqualify yourself. No one's going to parliament magna 60 because there's a lot of people who are older in that place. He's causing like ANC a shake. You know what I mean? But my point is that if you underestimate, have you seen like footage of Julius Malema back in the days? Back in the days when he was still young, you would have easily dismissed him. Like, village boy, what. You could easily do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I've learned not to do that. So that's the one part. The other part is that it's the human thing to do, man. Like to if we don't like each other, let's just at least preach tolerance. Tolerance with each other. But then again, I love people who don't sit and they want to do things for themselves. For example, when I met you, I used to sit and talk to the colleagues at VOW and we dress up. Like, this guy, if you knew the behind the scenes of this guy, some of you here, I'm convinced they're lazy. Because this guy comes from very, very far, commutes by train, walks from Park Station to here, not knowing where the next meal is coming.
Yeah.
But he wants this thing. See, when I see stuff like that, I'm like, what moves the person to do that? I want to know. You might not know. Some of the things I took, in fact, a lot of the stuff I'm like, I'm taking that for me. For me, I'm learning from this guy because I'm observing how you do life. So the issue of helping people, it's fulfilling, man. Like, it's so cool. And I always tell my wife that if she becomes better than me, I would have tried.
What do you mean by that?
By that I mean she needs to exceed me. If I help her just get above my level, I would have at least done my best. But my best version needs to supersede. Like, she needs... No person that you elevate, in most cases, I mean, the people that have their heads screwed right, no person that you elevate forgets you. That's why we keep going back to our grandmothers. Like,
Yeah.
No. Hey, father, yes, anything. Dude, I would jump now for my grandmother. Because the same gogo used to give me the 200. That's how I go McDonald's and buy ice cream so that I can study coding. So being human, man, it's about that. It's about helping each other. It's important that we do that for each other, because people feel like they can live another day.
Yeah.
When you do that. And random acts of kindness, as I would also like to call them. You don't need to be told, you don't need to shine. In fact, it's better if I don't shine.
Sure.
Because sometimes you want to be celebrated. And people who are moved with compassion to help people generally don't think about stuff like that, like being celebrated. And as soon as somebody craves that, their hearts. Think of Martin Luther. Think of Gandhi, think of Mother Teresa, think of Black Coffee, think of, in the many messages that Black Coffee communicates, think of Proverb. Proverb is a great example because I worked with him for a long time. I worked with Proverb a lot. Proverb used to follow us. I hope he watches this. He used to follow us and say, dog, you need to send me your invoice. I need to pay you. Hey, now I'm like, I've never heard this treatment before. When people are paying me for my, like they're following me. Normally, hey, people are doing a duck and dive, And I saw something. And Proverb will always go, hey, abutis mang mang, abutis mang mang. Even if you're way younger than him. But it's that sense of respect. And we wonder why he's where he is. You know what I mean? In terms of his achievements. And we can tell he's not stopping.
Yeah.
Did you see the analogy of the seasons? He understands that there's another season for him coming. That's why he's writing. He wants to know about tax. He wants to know about property. Because probably that's the next phase for his life. Open a property company and move away from entertainment. So being human goes without saying.
Sure.
You gotta do that.
No. So what fascinates you when it comes to technology? What is it that you...
Oh, sorry, I'm jumping in. You just...
Because at Val, when we were at Val, you used to watch some videos. I'm like, hey, what's going on?
Ah, man. I love technology, man. Yo, guys. I feel like if people knew the amount of free stuff, and I'll make an example so that these things make sense in our context, right? What we are talking about. Think about it. The cameras that we're using now to shoot. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you wouldn't be able to afford them. They were mad expensive. But now, companies see, okay, we can still get this. Let's make an entry level. Let's make a premium version. Let's make it this level. Now you choose now. It's like a 318, 320, 335, M3. Difference between M3 and power, it's got the silver bumper, those little nyana specs. You'd find that even with cameras, it's the lens. The issues become the lens. Or the material of the thing is maybe the other one is rubber, the other one is plastic, the other one is whatever.
Something else.
So my point is that with what we have right now, you wouldn't be able to get it 10, 15 years ago. What are the stats now? I don't know about YouTube, but let me use Facebook. There's about 2.8 billion people that use Facebook.
That is a lot.
You wouldn't be able to get those numbers. Go and ask for 2.8 billion people at SABC, at ETV, at DSTV. I'm not name shaming, but I'm just saying it's a different... You would pay a lot of money. A lot. There were times where advertising used to be something like, I don't know now, like about 20,000 Rand per second for an ad.
Sure.
So every time it plays, you count 20,000 count 20,000 count. How many adverts play in one show? Probably about 4 or 5. So technology enables us to get to stuff that we couldn't get to, or our parents couldn't get to quickly. You could record an album tonight, mix and master it tonight. 1 a.m. in the morning, it drops with a cover, with everything, social media. You can even pay for sponsorship now on socials. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
Stuff, yeah.
They say something like 120 Rand to target 5,000 people. That's the power of technology. You take your phone, and a lot of people would say something like, no, I don't have an iPhone. No. And I'm like, you're playing games. The same tech in those phones, it's stuff that people wouldn't have had back in the days. So the reason I like tech, man, it has become this beautiful world that is unseen. But it's such a huge ecosystem because it's enabling people to do things.
Yeah.
Like if I make clothes here and I want them delivered, do you understand that with technology, it's actually become easier?
Yeah.
I was with, there's a guy named Prince Bulu, plays bass lapa on DJ Tira's videos. He's the producer guy at Entertainment. He came this side, borrowed a guitar from me, because I would go to his shows. That's how I kind of made the relationship. He came here, got my guitar, they shot, took forever. Then I had to go. Do you know how I got my guitar? He sent it with an Uber. That's technology. So if you order something from me, I'll ask you, are you okay with me shipping it to you or sending it to you? Like, no, add a 60 rand. Kike 60 rand. Put the parcel in the Uber. It'll get there because I can track. I can see the Uber going to you. But that's its simplest. But you can have more sophisticated. That's technology, bro.
Sure.
That's tech, bro. I can finish an album from start to end, mixing and mastering on an iPad.
Technology.
It's possible. Not because I'm like because I sit around and like look at things. I'm not a complainer. I don't like. So tech has allowed it, but the rabbit hole of tech goes deep, man. It goes very, very deep. That's why I'm passionate about it. Another part of me that's passionate about it, I believe if Africa would be introduced aggressively, especially younger generations, be introduced into technology, teach people to make stuff, to build stuff.
Yeah.
Because now we're getting taught to consume and consume. Teach us to build stuff. You can sit online and learn how to make an electric car. Do you know that? You can sit. Just takes discipline. And the tutorial is a failing. Tick. And people say, I'm not that. You know what I used to do? I used to go to a mall and download and then go home to watch.
Offline, yeah.
Because I know the button got 2 hours unkept. But it's fast. So in 2 hours, I can download quite a lot of videos. And I go home, then I
go to your downloads and watch.
I learned how to code. I learned how to make apps. I learned how to make websites. I learned networking, which is what I was doing at VOW. No one taught me that. Where I used to create, I don't know if you were there when I was creating the internet network.
It was this thing of websites and stuff.
Yeah, but there was a time where the network VOW was not working. So I piggybacked another network and created a internet for the building because the event was taking too long. But that was genius. I sit and figure these things. So tech for me, man, is really, 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 really important. So if you have a smartphone, I don't know why people are not shooting content. The amount of apps that are on app stores to edit and filters and
a lot.
We could sit here the whole day.
There's you do a lot of things, and someone can come and say, this is the perfect guy. Because now I don't know which aspect in your life we should dwell into, because there's a lot of stuff that you do, but you do so well. But let's go to composing music and stuff.
Yes,
for
the favorite
ads,
part, yes.
For ads and movies and stuff. So how does the industry work? Does it have someone in between saying, I want this person to edit stuff for me, or you just hustle your way in?
It's a bit of both. So some people have agencies, but in the composing world, there's not a lot of blacks. There's not a lot of, and then there's not a lot of young blacks. You know what I mean? I'm a believer in run away from saturation. If a market is saturated for me, 2 things could happen. Either you do something that's going to make you pop out of that audience, or you start a new industry that is linked to that, where you can pull this audience to here. Look at Black Coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wants us to be better than him, but we're not going to sit and try and compete with him.
Yeah.
He's too far because he chose to branch out and be himself. But in the process of you branching out into certain things, remain who you are. You know what I mean? When I started out, I went to production houses and knock, literally knock. Hi, my name is so-and-so. I do XYZ. Here's my work. But all the work that I had presented to them was work. It's what they call amateur work.
Oh.
So I'd find stuff online. I'd shoot stuff myself and try to compose the music. At that time, I had a Toshiba laptop. A Toshiba laptop. It was a company called Toshiba. It needed a miracle to start and a miracle to stop that computer. It used to heat up. It was so slow. More exporter, boy. MP3 file, you wait, man. You wait. Try doing video on that thing. But I composed music. I used to program orchestras with the mouse. This.
Sure.
Because I didn't have a keyboard. So fast track, then there was the approach pitch. And then I started putting my stuff online. And then one day I met a director and I told him this is what I want to do. And they gave me my first ad. Remember Itumeleng Kune's ad, Den Up?
Oh, yeah.
I scored the music for that ad. You know, so that was my first big one. This is a big, because it was used for FCON as well.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I started. Then how it actually works out is that a director, once they like what you do, then you kind of like stay.
Oh.
You know.
Okay.
And then once you're in, then you gotta work your way in. Then you start doing commercials. You start doing drama series. I did a drama series. You start doing film. But films, mostly directors would say, I've got some money. We're doing a pilot because I want to pitch it to a particular broadcaster.
Okay.
But the ads are more the ones that become like our, we call them money to keep the lights on.
Oh.
It's the money that kind of is big because it's advertising. So that's how I got in. And then once you're in, you got to start pushing. Pushing. But my approach is concepts. I like concepts, like that Lion King thing I did.
Yeah.
It's a concept, you know what I mean? It can continue, but sometimes with these things, you do just enough to entice people. Sky more. I was proving a concept. That means what I'm doing works.
Sure.
You know, so I'm going to start something else in a couple of days. It's I'm basically trying to prove that Amapiano is actually music.
Oh.
But practically. I'm going to show you the merge of... What is that? I'm going to show you the merge of Amapiano and film music and orchestra. There's a world that kind of links them. And people think, Amapiano, either way. Yeah. It's there, but if you're going to compose for South African audience, you need to know where they, you know. So that's how the composing world kind of works. It's trial and error because there's no reference. But you got to trust your gut with these things. The Lion King thing, there's a couple of people who are big that told me that thing won't work.
Sure.
But you see, but my gut was like, I still haven't heard stuff like this. Now imagine if you had to go to that sound with very subtle elements of Mapiano. You haven't compromised yourself, but you're existing in the space where everybody is. And then when you get there, okay, I'm revealing my secrets now, stuff I'm going to do in a couple of months. When you get to that state of Mapiano, because everybody I need to put my CDJ, I'm going to land up with guitars and a keyboard and CDJs. Already that thing doesn't make you want to dance. It makes you want to come and watch.
Like, how do you do that? Yeah.
Then somebody like a Shimza can give you a call and say, boy, I like what you did. There's another friend, FK Mesh. Mesh, his style is unique. But Shimza loves him. Number one, his tempo is slow. But his songs, you know, he's stuck to his guns. He used to come to VAR. So that's how I get into the film space. It's not as easy as submitting a demo. It's boring when the demos are boring. You need to grab attention. So how do you grab attention? Where's the noise? On socials. My piano. Imagine if you can get Kamo Mpela to dance for one of your songs that you've produced and she genuinely likes it. You just popped up on her page. If you gain an extra 50 people, you've won.
Yeah.
You know, you're leveraging. So that's how the film industry works. It changes every day because methods are. Because another thing is, I'm a director. They're always busy doing other things. And number two, they don't like things that don't endorse them. That's why Lebo M said what he said on my page. And the choice of words that he used, he said amazing, brilliant. Keep at it.
Yeah.
This is the guy who wrote the actual song for The Lion King. I don't need any other validation. No. Because for me, I felt like I've done justice to somebody's art. Had somebody else made a comment, yes, I would have. But this is the person. Then 4 minutes later, he followed. You know, I normally don't get lost in the following thing. But you know what following means to me of somebody big? Doesn't mean it means my work needs to keep coming. Because now they found a reason to come and look. If I stop, back to seasons. The stuff I was fighting for back then, now it's the season. Things are just effortless. Yeah.
So for someone who wants to get into this industry that you say is a lot of less people, how do people get into
film composing? People need to
study
study styles of music. No, I get very saddened and discouraged when somebody says another genre is horrible, or you know, they're already showing me that they lack music appreciation. You know, I'll make an example of a Black Coffee again because I follow his work. You know, he said something the other day. He said, "I won't play Gqom as Black Coffee, but I love what Tira is doing for the culture." You know what I mean? Two things. He understands his brand, but he also values his fellow colleagues in the game of entertainment. I understand?
Yeah.
And when that's why, I mean, I'm assuming you won't find a lot of songs with Tira and Black Coffee. Not because they don't like each other, because they do two different things, but they haven't found somewhere where they meet. It probably will happen, it probably won't. But maybe they meet on other levels. So study styles, learn a couple of instruments. You know, I mean, I play drums. I started with drums, then went to guitar. I'm heavily now invested in piano. I'm going to be picking up a saxophone not so long ago. 10 times. So I want to learn, but I learn instruments that interest me. Learn how to play, because what that does, it helps you to compose better. Because you understand, like for an example, if you learn how to play saxophone, you can only play one note at a time. It's not like a keyboard where I'm playing something else and something else here.
Oh, okay.
So the melody has to shine without the help of other things. So you're forced to compose a very strong melody. You know what I mean? A voice. normally, like unless you're Bobby McFerrin, you can sing two voices at the same time. But normally when you sing, you're singing one. If your voice can stand out, your melody can cut through the noise. That's why Shasha is so amazing. Because she, apart from that, she's got a really, really beautiful voice. Her melodies cut through, man. You know, she knows how to do those little there's these little, little things that are natural for her. But when you study how the voice works, you kind of understand, okay, I'm composing for voice. I'm composing for this. Then when a director says to you, because the other thing with directors, you have to understand the language. When somebody says opening scene, it's a aerial shot of someone walking in a desert. That's the script. Nowhere did he say, you need to teleport yourself to that environment and what would make sense in this place? But if you've studied things and then the other thing you need to study sound design. And let me give you an example of why I'm saying sound design. You see that Lion King song?
Yeah.
That beat here thing, it's actually guitars. It's not a drum.
Really?
You see, because it's sonics. It's what they call sonics. It's sound design. So now when I make music, I run away from what the software gives you. I'll go outside and record. There's another one that's coming. I recorded the Dasbini, the Telamanzi. Then I'll take that sound, put it in, and morph it and change it and tweak it and add it onto something. And then when you play it on a keyboard, because I can map it, it's the same water, but now it's got a tone, it's got a... sound, because you're going to have to go record like me at the exact place with the exact same recorder and do the same type of EQing as I did. Then that part makes me stand out as a person, because number one, no composer from the US is going to go to Limpopo and understand Utu Koko Wasemakhaya when she sings this. This is the part that makes the thing. Like there's a thing that makes the thing, You need to be born here.
Sure.
So styles, sound design, director's language. Director's language just means you must watch a lot of behind the scenes. The other thing, I said instruments, learn a lot of instruments. And the other part is, which is one of the most important, you must hang around the industry. Hang around the industry. And by that I mean, a lot of directors are very open to you coming, as well, you coming on set. So do you mind if I come on set, Or when you guys are editing, can I come, sit in and see? Because you want the language. A week ago, I reached out to a composer who's based in Dubai now. He's from South Africa. The guy do you remember Black Coffee's Africa Rising DVD? Yeah. The conductor guy.
Okay.
I reached out to him the other day. He answered me within 30 minutes. Then we're having a chat. He says to me, yo, man, when you've done some stuff, send them to me. I'll give you some pointers. You understand? I've just opened the channel. It was as easy as, that's why I'm saying technology again. So you do that. I'm not afraid of doing stuff. I go to people I genuinely think, you know what, I'm going to learn a lot from this person. Because he scored The River. I think there's three drama series on Showmax and 3 on Mzansi that he scored, that guy. Sure. He's in between projects, like season 1 is coming. He is busy, super, super, super busy. But now here's the thing that I've learned in the game. There's projects that they won't take because the budget is too low. Like hypothetically, let's say you are one of the directors, the composers, your rate is always $100. Just making an example. But there's this one that they are asking you to do 60 Rand. But you already know me because I've reached out.
Yeah.
That has in. I think he goes in. I've already have your endorsement to the director because they know you, the big person. Mina ngiyayithatha 60 Rand baba angaze ngiyithole 100 Rand.
Yeah.
Angaze ngithole 10 Rand. 60 Rand they charge. To him it's a bit cheap. Then you're in because once you do that one with that director, it's gonna call you.
Sure.
Because there's times where things clash, like schedules clash. It's not because they didn't want that director, it's because he wasn't available. Who's the next best person after that one? Katleho. Call Katleho. Hey, Katleho Kren. Mase bafonela wena ke so uyayibeka imali yakho kuthi. And you become experienced. So that's how you would get in. You hang around the game. But it's a fun world because there's no genres there. The other day I made a sound and then I added voices on it. Then I posted it because it reminded me of a certain director. That director loved it and reposted it on their page. So, yeah.
There was, before we close, I just want to share this. When I first came to Val, you were the one and only person I was close to.
Yeah.
So whenever I'd come to you, there was this group. I forgot what the name of the group. They play. It's a band, but they play instruments. There was no vocals or anything like that. I'm trying to make you remember.
Snacky Poppy.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
There's this guy.
Yes, Korean Snacky Poppy. Yeah.
So when I got there, I think we were about to make our meeting of listening session and stuff like that. And then you said to me that when you listen to music, you should be, don't be bottled in and just be, I'm a hip hop guy. Just listen to everything. And then there's this one thing you told me, and then you made I remember the day vividly, just dance to the song before it even starts. That's one thing I've learned from you, because when I started loving music and this whole thing, I used to only listen to hip hop. And that was a life lesson because of now I don't judge, I just look at people and be like, okay, what can I learn from those people? It wasn't only a music lesson, but it was a life lesson for me. And there's a lot of things that I can even write a book about that I learned from you.
That's amazing. No, I'm humbled, man. To have learned. This is your video, so you'll come on my video and then we'll talk about you. But the stuff that I've personally learned from you, and you don't need to not have made it for you to learn from someone. You learn from people all the time, and there's a spark that people have in their eyes, even in the midst of despair, like when they're going through stuff.
Yeah.
But there's this one thing that you would talk about, that they always talk about, and you will see the spark in their eyes. And that's what I saw. Whenever we talk music, you almost forget your world, everything in your world disappears.
Yeah.
It's about this one beautiful thing called music, which is the connector. And music could be the link to something, but it could also be the thing. Take life as beautiful as I don't know fully as it is. It's like, where's the next step? And you go for it that way. So when I see those sparks in people, so there were two people at VAR. It was you, it was Kabelo. Remember Kabelo Makudu?
Yeah.
Have you seen what he's doing right now?
I haven't checked.
He's gone, man. The stuff that, because he's a brain full of ideas that are just new. But he went to go work for another company, and there they taught him how to be structured, and that made him even a better. Because now he's like a strategist of some sort. He knows how to come up with shows. I know he came up with the show that was aired on MTV or something like that. But when I see people like that, Because I call him sometimes. We speak for hours. He's like, Sim, why did they steal so-and-so's sample on this song?
Yeah.
Keep in you know.
Yeah.
And stuff like that keeps me alive because I feel like I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
You know, and you have it in your own unique and subtle way. Trust your gut and trust your ideas. You'll see. There's a lot of people that are writing people off. You'll see. We've written a lot about Skumba and said, lo, we are Kwarana. He's got a show on Fridays. Every Friday. Did a whole advert, yeah. What was that brand that sells things? I forgot. Those big brands that sell stuff online. But man, I'm happy. I'm happy, more than happy. And if there's any other thing I can help with, man, my door's always open. And if you know people that are composers that want to get into this thing, I'm not stingy with that other kind of information.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm unique in what I do. So call them up. Let's, even create a round table of composers. You know, but yeah.
And before we close, one other, I can talk a lot of things because you've taught me a lot.
Yeah.
There's I think it was on Mondays where we used to you taught me how to focus. So we used to go there and you're like, today's emails, Baba, nothing else. Forget about power code and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that's what I would do. So that would focus. Sometimes I'm like, hey, let me skip it. You won't even see. But I'm like, I'm cheating myself.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so focus is one of the things that I took from you.
Yeah.
Where do people find your genius mind in terms of social media? How can people find
Okay, so social media, it's real, Simlet. So real is in a show reel, REEL, and my name, Instagram. And the same thing on Twitter. And the same thing on Facebook. Speaking of, I just like people not to get lost.
Yeah.
So it's real Simlet. So REEL SIMLET on all the social media platforms. Even the website is like that, realsimlet.co.za. But I've got another company where you can find the tech stuff. It's called techsimcard.co.za.
techsimcard.co.za.
Yeah,
Check
my
it
name,
out.
but it also means SIM card as well. So it's Tech SIM card. And that's where you'll find the other things that I'm busy with. I'm not that busy, but there's other things that I do. So techsimcard.co.za and then realsimlet.co.za. Then you find the other stuff there. Yeah.
So in that, we are closing. Prasim, thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.